All right, so look, I'm a software engineer, but I've got a lot of experience in hiring. For the last 4 years, I've been helping people from junior to senior level land more jobs in tech, get more interviews. And when I do this with them, I always implement 5 core strategies. There's 5 golden rules, 5 things that when you implement them into your resume, you'll get more callbacks, you'll get more money, you'll get more interviews, and you're guaranteed to land a job or go on to get a better job. So I'm not even going to waste your time. Let's get into it. Okay, so for the first golden rule, I'm going to tell you a story. So this developer came to me and I spoke to him for a while and I got to know him. And I tell you what, he was a brilliant developer. I mean, one of the best out there. Some software engineers, like in every company, they always say 20% of people do 80% of the work or whatever that statistic is. He was a fantastic engineer. Now, he was struggling finding a job. He was someone who had a lot of experience. But no matter how many applications he sent out, he kept getting rejections and he couldn't quite understand it. This is why I always say about developers, they are exceptionally clever people, but the obvious things are very hard for them. That includes me, by the way, as a developer. So he sent me his resume and I went through it. And one of the issues that I found straight away is that there was so much tech in there. It was hard to know what he was actually doing or good at. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you shouldn't have all the tech in there. I'm saying that it should be organized. When you're writing your resume, you need to think about what kind of job you're getting into because you can't have a catch-all resume. You can't have a resume that you can send to every application that makes you applicable to each and every job. So to cut a long story short, basically what we did is we cut a lot of it out because it wasn't relevant. We were trying to become a back-end developer, so a lot of the relevant experience that he had in that area, we kept it in, we highlighted it, we focused it, and within weeks he was getting invited to interview and he was well on his way. Now that covers the golden rule number 1. Without an area of focus, what's the point? Your resume is just going to be like floating in the air and not being applicable to anything. For point number 2, I'm going to tell you another story. I started working with this girl, again, fantastic developer, very, very clever, very bright. But again, with developers, we seem to love technical stuff, but the simple stuff, we make it so hard. So she came to me with a resume, which was a very, very busy resume. I'm going to use the word busy. Look, whenever a recruiter looks at your resume, they only spend about 8 to 10 seconds scanning it. If they can't see that you've got the skills or what it is that you're about, they're probably going to throw it in the pile and not do anything with it. Now, the issue that she had was that she had this big wall of text and it was very, very hard to abstract out what it is she actually did. So what did we do with that? We did a total rewrite. She was putting in way too much information. It was just way too many keywords. We abstracted again a lot of it out, and that brought us to golden rule number 2, which is don't make it hard for the recruiter to see what you can do. I quite often tell people when I'm doing resume reviews with them, we're trying to give the most amount of information in the simplest to consume way. Okay, so that covers 2 golden rules. Number 1, without a focus, your resume is just going to go round and round in circles. And number 2, do not make it hard for the recruiter to find out what it is you want to do or can do. Okay, so what's number 3? Number 3, I'm not going to give you a story about, I'm just going to tell you about it. When it comes down to your skills section, your technical skills, it shouldn't be hard to find. There's no point putting your technical skills at the bottom of your resume because there's a good chance the recruiter might not scroll down to see what you can do. So when it comes down to your technical skills, whether that's front-end languages, back-end languages, whatever it is, make sure it's either the first or second thing that the recruiter will see when they open your resume without having to scroll anywhere, without having to do anything. Because what's going to happen is that they have a specific set of skills that they're hiring for. They're going to see those skills in your resume as soon as they open it, and then they're going to be like, okay, I'm going to keep reading this. This person's obviously got the skills. Have they now got the experience? Again, like rule number 2, don't make it hard for them. So golden rule number 3, put your skills front and center so that the recruiter can see that you are the person for the job. You have the skills that match what they are hiring for. Okay, so golden rule number 4, I'm going to give you another story because I love telling you stories. I had a person come to me and they're around 2 years experience into the industry as a software developer. Now, previous to that, they had worked in a lot of like customer experience roles, not much relevant experience except some soft skills which we could abstract from. Now, this person's resume was like 4 pages long and it still came across as a customer service agent's CV. And it still quite came across as, is this person a software developer or are they a customer service agent? So what did we do with this one? Well, believe it or not, they had that 2 years of experience, so we kept that job in there. We highlighted all the relevant information, and for all their previous customer service experience jobs, apart from one, we combined it all into one paragraph. This took their resume down to 2 pages from like 4 or 5 or 6, whatever it was. It was huge. There was no point. So golden rule number 4, if it's not applicable, if it doesn't bring value to the job or the skills that you're trying to get, it doesn't need to be there. Okay, golden rule number 5, and I've saved the best till last. Now, this is the kick up the backside that you actually need. If you want to avoid becoming one of those people on LinkedIn who's like, I sent 300 applications, I've got no response, what am I doing wrong? You're doing everything wrong in 99% of the cases. Writing a resume is much like writing code. You do your first iteration, you write your test, it doesn't pass, you do it again, you send it up to your pull request, and the guy, your senior engineer knocks it down and tells you how crap it is, and then you got to do it all again. Or maybe that's just in my experience. Anyway, with your resume, send it out 15, 20 times. If you get no responses, there's something wrong with it. change it up a bit and keep sending it out until you start getting more responses. And once you figure out what works for you, stick with it and then start doing marginal improvements bit after bit. So like following a forward iteration in software engineering principles. Okay, so those 5 golden rules are highly important. I give a lot of this information for free away on my channel right here, so I'd appreciate the sub and let me know which one appeals to you and what else you'd add to it.